Oh, they don't like it, do they? Let's begin. So what am I going on about then? Well, apparently, according to this article, there's been a huge EU tantrum. So I guess they're throwing their toys out of the pram, eh? Because apparently Brexit allows the UK to stop Europe's fishing boats hoovering up our eels, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but certain countries kind of love, don't they? But Brussels has reacted with fury. Oh, I'm not happy! Just imagine them saying that, can't you? To Britain's decision to ban the fishing of sand eels, and the two sides are apparently now look set for another major dispute. Why can't the EU just accept that if we've said no, it is no, whether they like it or not? I mean, how often have we been told that the answer's no and we have to cave in on something, and we've just seemed to come along and go, okay, me, you masters, we'll do it. Which obviously with Brexit we should never have done in the first place. I think, well, in my opinion anyway, we should have just went no deal, and no doubt of course there'll be loads of people in the comments going, what? Oh, I hate this smug one! And are now going to barrage me with a trade of abuse, no doubt. However, it does seem, doesn't it, that it is time that they had a taste of their own medicine. Not only because of, let's face it, the very tough time we've had, because rather than actually getting rid of EU laws, or remember that bonfire of EU laws that Rishi was apparently talking about, they haven't done any of that so far, it seems, or not very much anyway. And instead of actually accepting that, the EU itself actually created, from what I've heard, a load more EU laws for us to follow with the whole Windsor framework crap that Rishi actually wants to do. So it does seem, doesn't it, that they don't like the word no. And it makes me wonder what's going to happen here. How long will it actually be before either A, that we cave in as usual, or B, the government has grown a backbone and actually stepped to it. Maybe, who knows, they've dug deep, got their kahunas out and went, no! We're putting our foot down, EU, whether you like it or not, which is what we should have done long time ago in the whole Brexit trade talks, in my opinion. And perhaps if they'd have done that, we'd be in a far better position and a lot more freer than what we are now. But anyway, and I think, I could be right, because it says that the UK insists it is using its hard-won, it's true, isn't it, Brexit freedoms to protect its environment and sea life from overfishing, which, let's face it, the EU do tend to come along in these big fishing trawlers, which, from what I've heard, are far bigger than our ones, and just help themselves, don't they, it seems. The European Union, what have they said? Well, they apparently claim that the move will profoundly affect its fishing sector and endanger jobs. Well, I'm not being funny. They've had a long time, haven't they, to surely transition a bit and either cut down on these or go to other waters and get the fish from them. Or maybe, just maybe, who knows, actually pay us to ship it to them. But no, they wouldn't like to do that at all, would they? Just like to help themselves, I'm guessing. But get this, Brussels has apparently accused the UK of breaching the terms of the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, something called the TCA, signed after Brexit, and has triggered, wait for this, a legal challenge. Well, there's a bloody surprise, eh? But what they're surely forgetting is that Rishi Sunak's government announced a ban in January of catching sand eels on Dogger Bank in the North Sea, so as to protect the area's populations of puffins and kittiwakes, which feed on the fish. The move, though, has caused outrage among the Danish and Swedish fishermen, whose governments lobbied Eurocrats to take action against Britain. Well, that's all they seem to want to do. No, of course, they'll try and drag us into the ECJ. But I'm sorry, EU, that is a foreign court, so surely we shouldn't bear brunt to any of their decisions. No, that, of course, we'll more than likely cave in as well on that, especially if Keir Starmer wins, which unfortunately it currently looks like he will do when the 2024 general election happens. Because let's face it, he does seem to love the EU, doesn't he? But now apparently the EU has gone on attack as it attempts to force us into an humiliating U-turn, which obviously the belly dancer himself, in my opinion, Keir Starmer, loves to do. And Rishi has done quite a few of them as well, hasn't he? Which obviously I mentioned one of them earlier, didn't I? The bonfire of EU laws. And announcing its legal action for... Oh, here we go. Sorry, I hope I pronounced that right. I'm guessing I didn't, but the EU Commissioner, who's apparently for the environment, said the UK's permanent closure of the sand eel fishery deprives EU vessels from fishing opportunities. Well, no, just bugger off and catch some other fish. He argued the ban impinges on basic continents under the EU/UK Trade and Cooperation Agreement. And he continues and says that healthy EU sand eels are not just vital for the delicate balance of our marine ecosystems, but also for the livelihoods of our fishers, he added. Brexiteers, though, we reacted with glee to the news. Well, yeah. Pointing out that the UK has simply taken swift action to protect its interests, which it couldn't have done while still a member of the EU. So take that, Ramonas. And no, before anyone says, I'm not talking about anyone who voted Remain but accepts the results. I'm just talking about those people who just want to shut up moaning about it. But anyway, under the EU rules, the UK would have had to enter lengthy legal negotiations under the Common Fisheries Policy before any decision could be made, and it would have faced an outright hostility from other member states. And Britain and the EU have until May the 16th, so not too long, to work out their differences, whereafter the Commission can take the dispute to a resolution panel for adjudication, which, I don't know about you, but just makes me wonder how biased, if at all, that resolution panel will be. Because let's face it, quite a lot of the time, there does tend to be a lot of people within the UK who do tend, strangely, to be on the EU side rather than our own, which is just crazy, isn't it? Surely they'd want to do the best for us, and I don't know where this resolution panel is. No doubt, of course, it's bound to be in the EU, but either way, they should be completely impartial. Not on our side or not on the EU side, though it does make me wonder if that will indeed be the case. So what will happen then if we're wrong and we shouldn't have done such a nasty thing? Well, apparently if the UK is found to be in breach of the Brexit trade deal and refuses to comply with the ruling, then Brussels can legally slap tariffs on British exports to the continent, which, there we go, no doubt that will be the virtual kick in the gonads, which will no doubt scare Rishi or whoever else into bending over and let the EU just take the eels, eh? Admittedly, I could be wrong, and I hope I am, because at the end of the day, it's about the puffins and, well, the wildlife, isn't it, that they try to protect. The RSPB slammed the EU for its outrageous move, accusing Brussels of kicking the future of beautiful birds like our much-loved puffins around like a political football. And it's about time someone said that, actually, so I'm really glad they did. Katie Jo Loxton, the organisation's director of conservation, said that 62% of seabird species were in decline across the UK. And she went further and told Political that while some EU countries seem hell-bent on hoovering up sand eels on the industrial scale to feed livestock, we believe they should be restoring marine ecosystems and nourishing baby puffins. So, I don't know about you, but it does make me wonder if the EU will even take this into account. I'm guessing probably not. Either way, though, if we actually win this, it does make me wonder if we'll then start toughening up our stance with other decisions that the EU may not like. Hopefully we will, but I'm guessing that if anything, we are facing quite an uphill battle. Although hopefully I am wrong.